G'day, Chief. Welcome to the Inner Chief podcast and this very special Minisode on how to get your leadership team to think strategically at the organisational level and out of their functional roles. Recently, I held a webinar with Business New South Wales, which is the organisation that represents the Chamber of Commerce and Industry across the state of New South Wales. And together with the CEO of BNSW, I ran a particular podcast on this high performance teams model. And at the end, we answered a bunch of questions from the listeners. And one of the questions we didn't get to, that's why I wanted to bring this up, was, hey, Greg, Dan is the CEO of BNSW. What do we do when I've got a group of leaders in the business that have risen up through functional roles and are now really struggling to work on the business, to be strategic, right? They're getting caught down in the weeds. They may be thinking more about their own function more than the organization. It's causing a fair amount of chaos and tension across the group. This is a really common question. It's something that when I work with organizations, we cover this an enormous amount, because what we really want is for your leadership team, their number one team, to be the leadership team for the organization. We want them to remove any of the misunderstanding in the business about what is the biggest priority. We want them to work together on the business. We want them to execute the game plan and lead cultural change as they go. It's actually easier said than done. But what I wanted to give you today was a 7-step process to get that underway. Okay. This goes hand in hand with a couple of other podcasts we've already done. One is on how to run an executive retreat, and the other is how to build an effective operating rhythm. And there's a downloadable on our website. If you go to chiefmaker.com/operating rhythm, it'll have the format for executive offsite, plus also the monthly strategic projects committee meeting, which I'm going to talk about in this particular episode. Okay, Chief. Let's talk about these 7 steps and how to get them done in the right order. The order is actually quite important here. So first up, Chief, you've got to create the space. And very rarely is the space in the office you work in. In fact, it never is. If you want your people to get out of the functional areas where they get distracted, where they get emails, where they're automatically anchored to thinking in the day-to-day operations, but you now want them to jump up to being strategic, it won't work. Go and find an Airbnb, go to the country, go to the beach, go to the mountains, whatever works, and get your leadership team away, switch off devices and technology, tell the rest of the business you are away for the purposes of working on the business. And in that space, then you have the opportunity to invite them to work on the business. Once the frame is set, we go to step 2, right? And step 2 is all about setting the frame for why you're there. The frame is so important that this is the number one team in the business. This is about working on the business as a whole. Whatever is best for the business is best for the business. This is about thinking about your customer at the heart, knowing your customer and having deep conversations about how we all need to understand our customer even better. Okay, so this is about that alignment, the frame of we are here to serve the organization as a whole, right? We're also here to bond and unite, because if we don't get trust between us, then we're never going to win the game. The third step, then, step 3, is what we call situational analysis. One thing I like to do, and I'm doing this with a couple of organizations next week, in fact, is we set up the room, and the room has 4 walls, right? On one wall is the market, the industry, what's happening in the economy, the political landscape around us, right? On another wall is our customer. And on that wall, we put up all our customer research, the good, the bad, the ugly, the great testimonials, right? The avatars, maybe customer journey maps, that all goes up on one wall. Then on the wall opposite that is us, right? How's our business performance? We might put things like a SWOT, a pestle up on that wall, maybe some our own actual financial performance, operational performance. Let's get that up there so we know how we look as a business. And then on the last wall is our competitors, the people that are actually trying to take business away from us, to lure our customers to work with them. Make no bones about it, Chief. They're doing the same thing as you are. They're probably pretty good at it, right? So we want to make sure we understand what they're doing so we can do it even better. And when you stand in the middle of this room and you look around and you can see the market, you can see the customer, you can see yourselves, and you can see your competitor. Now you're starting to work from a place of real knowledge and understanding of the true situation. Without doing that anchoring piece, Chief, you can't really then go away and start doing vision and strategy, right? We need to know, like, where are we launching from? It's from this space, okay? So that's step 3, right? So step 4 then is, now we know all that, let's connect to our purpose and our values and our vision. Why are we here? What is the problem we are solving for our customers? The emotional toll, the frustration, the thing that we actually do that make them go, that is a great organization. I love that they're in my camp, right? I love that I get to work with them. What are the values, those behaviors and traits you are going to hold dear to you on this journey? And what is the vision? What is the grand outcome you're going for at a particular point in time? What's going to be the numbers, the metrics, the operational standards? What kind of products are you going to release? In what markets? To what level? Or services, of course. What's the culture going to be like? Build a vivid vision, Chief, of the future so you can all sit back there and go, okay, this is why we exist. This is where we're going. And this is the behavior, the values we're going to demonstrate along the way. That will get your team out of the functional, I guarantee you, and working strategically. Because that then leads us to step 5. Now we know where we're leaving from, the platform, the situation. We know the why, the vision, and we know the values. Let's now determine our strategy. That which we will do better than anyone. That which will differentiate us in the market. So when the customer sits there and makes a decision about who they're going to work with, they go, I can see the points of difference here. I can see why I would work with that organization as opposed to that one. And you're the one that they choose. What is your strategy for building value, defending market position, right? Building value for your shareholders if you have them, right? Or any other stakeholders. How are you going to do this? Build the strategy. And then, Chief, if all that goes really well, you turn that into an execution plan, right? What are the pillars of your business? What are going to be the projects to deliver them? Who's going to own those projects and do them by when, with what kind of budget and resource, right? You get all that, and now it will start to make sense. Your team will be working together. And if they nail the projects in your execution plan, sorry, that's step 6, by the way, was build your execution plan. They build the execution plan to serve the strategy, right, which was step 5. And they did that because we want to do the step 4, the purpose, vision, and values, right? We get all that right, we will solve the situational issue we're in now. So that is how you talk your team through thinking about how to work on the business. What will happen, Chief, is you get all that together, you'll be aligned, maybe been away for a couple of days, you've got all this sorted. Guess what happens? You go back to the office and everyone gets distracted by the day-to-day. So to keep them at the strategic level, you have to have an operating rhythm or a schedule of meetings, which is at least where we connect to the annual, the quarterly, and the monthly. The next most important meeting in everything you do will be your strategic committee, which is, I don't care what you call this meeting, but the purpose is that every single month you come together and you talk about those tactical projects. Everyone who is an owner or a sponsor of that project gets up and talks to progress. What's been done, what is planned, what decisions they need made, how are we going on budget, time, resources, are we going to win this game? And if every single month you come together as a group and you knock those off, I absolutely guarantee you, you'll execute the game plan. And more importantly, actually nothing's more important than that, but you'll have all your leaders working strategically part of the time. Now look, they need to run the operation. So this isn't 100% of their job. but it's a good portion, right? And they're driving it together. So, Chief, that is the 7-step process. So some resources to help you. I mentioned there is a podcast we've done on executive retreats. Check that out. I'll put the link in the show notes. Number 2, there is a download on the operating rhythm, right? Go to chiefmaker.com/operating rhythm. Number 3, if you want help or you want to teach your leaders how to do this on their own, teach them to fish, then we do run the Mini MBA. The Mini MBA talks through all these steps and details. It helps each person in the business get out of the functional and become a strategic leader. And we walk them through their own business case, their own area, and everybody's got to build their own strategic plan, which includes all of these things. And they share that with the peers in the program, and they all learn together, step by step by step, guided by me every single week in live coaching calls. If you're interested in that, Chief, I'd love to talk to you. Go to chiefmaker.com/mini MBA. Chief, if you are a member of Business New South Wales and you want to check out the partner page, go to businessnewsouthwales.com/members/chiefmaker with a dash in the middle. That's chief-maker. Or if you're a part of my business, go to mybusiness.com/partners/chief-maker. I'll put those links in the show notes for you there, Chief.